You have to learn how to be independent in your thinking. You cannot just depend on one book, two books, and that's it. Just get all of it. You must try to read from many, many sources. Then think how to put it together. Okay? Any questions? So any food and beverage company will do. Yeah? It doesn't have to. Whether small, big, medium size, it doesn't matter. So what is a marketing audit? Basically you do an audit of its marketing processes, marketing resources. So for example, you depend on the 4 P's like product. What kind of product does it do? One product? Some companies only got one product, that's it. So if the product is not doing well, finish that. The whole company will lose. Right? Some companies only produce one product. Example? Example? Oh, example? Example? Companies that only produce one product. Huh? What? Oh, baking soda. I told you what, now nobody use baking soda already. So they reconsider. Okay. But I'm talking about companies in Malaysia. Give me names of companies in Malaysia that only produce one product. Huh? Apollo, yeah, Apollo only do biscuits. Chocolate wafers. Those kind of things. But they have sufficient range of different products. So it's not just one kind of biscuit. Other examples? That's why a lot of companies, they realize they cannot depend on one product. That's why they expand. Like say A1, they used to sell announcing the arrival of Mr. Han Xiong. You have my slides. My PowerPoint slides. Yes, that's how you print it. Because when I was rushing, I forgot to bring my thumb drive. Could you help me transfer it to my desktop here? So that I can, afternoon I can go through. 3, 4. Thank you. Sorry, no problem. You're so nice. Happy birthday, yeah, I owe you lunch. Standard. This is your assignment. Well, bring so many. Enough. Why you bring so many one? So many students? There's another person who didn't come there. Okay, this is an assignment question. Let me just go through it a bit. You are the marketing manager of a local company producing food products. Food includes beverage, right? There are a lot of competitors and sales have not been growing as per the company's expectations. Undertake a review of the company's value proposition and a marketing mix audit before making appropriate recommendations to boost growth levels. Alright? So let me spend some time discussing about the value proposition. What is a value proposition? Somebody said last week USP. What is it about the product that people want to buy? No matter how small or how big the company is, or how successful or not so successful the product is, there is always a market. There's somebody buying it. So the question is, when we talk about value proposition, why do they buy that product? What is so special about that product? Maybe price is the cheapest soya sauce in the country. Maybe it's the taste, it's the sweetest soya sauce in the country. and they like it sweet. Maybe it's convenient. All the shops around the area sell the product, so the person buying it, easy to buy. So you have to find the value proposition. What is it about the product that makes it special? It can be number one in the world, it can also be a value proposition. People smoke Marlboro because they know Marlboro is the number one brand in the world, so they want to be associated with the number one brand. Same like Coca-Cola, same like McDonald's. Even if people don't drink Coca-Cola, suddenly they go to the shop. No other type of drinks they can order, only soft drink. What to order? Suddenly they just order Coca-Cola because they are familiar with Coca-Cola, the name. But they have not, maybe they have not tried it. They are familiar with the name Coca-Cola because Coca-Cola is a market leader in the world. So they just know it, they just order. And sometimes when you know a brand, you tend to be, even though you don't know the brand, you tend to be comfortable with the brand because it is a brand. Market leader means the quality must be there, quality lah. Yeah, even if you don't know. Or sometimes people use price as a measurement of quality. You don't know what to buy. Something that price is 1,000 ringgit, the other one 100 ringgit. If you got the money, you buy the 1,000 because you know 1,000 quality is better. So sometimes you use that as a benchmark of quality. Yeah. So value proposition is important. You must the company that you select. What food products are you focusing on, and what is the value proposition? If you choose Farm Best, why should people buy Farm Best compared to A1 or Ayam Mas? What's so special about Farm Best? Or what's so special about Ayam Mas versus A1 or Farm Best? Maybe Ayam Mas is available in supermarkets. It's also available in their own shops. Yeah. So I don't know whether they. If I remember rightly, I remember they also do delivery. You also in my class?
Yes.
Oh, right. You only came today, eh? Oh, absent. Obviously absent, huh? That's why you're not here. Good class, more work for me, you know. For the mark. Salary also same, you know. So, we're just discussing the assignment, yeah? Because I want you all to understand what the requirements so that you can do well. Because this morning I was marking my mass MBA students' assignment. And many of them fail because they don't even understand the question. So sometimes students, it's important, yeah? Assignment or exam, read the question, understand what the question is asking. You know, sometimes students, they see the word marketing and they just talk everything about marketing. The question may be asking something else. So it's important to spend more time reading the question to understand what the question is asking. Not just see one word for positioning, right? Everything about positioning. Then you're not answering the question, then you get zero. Like this morning I was marking this paper. I say, talk about the benefits, the advantages and disadvantages of internet as a internal communication tool for the company. So internal is within the company lah. They saw the internet advantages and disadvantages. They write about advantages and disadvantages of the internet, not as an internal communication tool. Talk about online shopping, entertaining, play games, Facebook. But they're not answering the question. The question is about using the internet as an internal communication tool. They just see the word internet and sapu everything. Then I have to fail them lah. So they're not answering the question. So it's important to read the question to understand what the question is asking. Okay? So here we are talking about, you must understand the company's value proposition. Some companies, they project themselves as being of very good quality. That's what Nestle does. Everything they do, they say they have quality. Some companies may focus on economy. Economy means affordable. They want to make it affordable for people. Quality, yeah, they meet the minimum quality standards, but they're focusing on making it affordable. Some focusing on different types, say like food and beverage, you produce the sauces or the ingredients. You want to cater only for people who are cooking local food. So it depends on your market segmentation. What are you targeting? Next. What's the name of that Indian factory in Selayang that produces the curry powder? Huh? Huh? Alabas, is it?
Babas.
I can't remember because last time my office was there. I always can smell the curry every afternoon and I can make you all hungry. It is quite a well-known brand. It's a small, huh? Alabas, are you sure? Wow, Google. Wow, Google. This is not quite big. Such a small factory. But now they export it and all that. So they do all the premix curry, chicken curry, fish curry, mutton curry, all the. Huh? Sorry? Babas, that's right. Oh, California, not bad. Babas. That's right, Babas. There are many companies, doesn't matter whether Malay, Chinese or Indian, they produce a lot of this because today is the whole of the world. Today we talk about globalization. That foods here are also well accepted overseas. Only thing Malaysia is not very good in marketing, so we don't promote our products. But if you go to any major city, you can find Thai food, Korean food, Japanese food, Indonesian food, except Malaysian food. Because we are hopeless marketers. The best marketer is in front of you only. So, correct. Because Malaysia government spend so much money developing this stupid satay house in London, Melbourne, and it goes short. Because they don't know how to market. They employ cronies like that. They've got no idea about business. Yeah? But increasingly, people are becoming very globalized. That's why we talk about convergence of taste. Just as much as you all are into fast food, when fast food is really not healthy, you still want to go to fast food. Same like there is a lot of embracement of local food overseas. Do you know that the number one food in the UK is what? What's the number one food in the UK? Have you been to UK or not? Yeah, must bring that. Have you been to UK? What's the number one food in the UK? Starbucks, no lah. How can you survive on Starbucks?
Subway.
No. The number one food, here we're not talking about brand or anything. Number one food in the UK is curry. Yeah. What else? Of course, the curry, British curry is different from Malaysian curry lah. Yeah. But curry is the number one food. That's why I was just talking to my colleagues. Those days when I was in the UK, we always buy fish and chips. They put in this mahjong paper, and they put lots of vinegar. From far you can smell it, and that's the only place that is open after 9 o'clock. So if you're hungry, after cinema, after clubbing, nothing to eat, you don't know how to cook, then we always buy fish and chips. In big cities, a few stores will open to sell fish and chips. And we are used to that. Today I told all the fish and chip shop in the UK is controlled by the Indians and the Pakistanis. And now they even have certain flavor. If you don't want vinegar, you can also put curry powder. Which is amazing. Yeah? Because in the UK, of course, you know, most shops, most restaurants will close by 9 o'clock. Supermarket will close by 7:30. 9 o'clock, all restaurants will close. Yeah? And if you are 24 hours, except maybe you go to London, then there are some of the fast food will be open a bit later, some of the restaurants a bit later. But mostly everybody will close by 9:30. That's the lifestyle. Yeah? So that's why even though you have a small company in Malaysia, you have potential to export it. Let's come something on recommendations. Yeah? Before making appropriate recommendations to boost growth levels. You can increase your market share, increase your customer base. Yeah? Yes?
Are we supposed to choose only Malaysian company or?
Yeah, Malaysian company. Unless you tell me you're not Malaysian, no? You are from Sri Lanka, then you have to choose a Sri Lankan company because you're more familiar.
India.
You're from India? You're from India, from Tibet. Laugh one. You like to laugh at people, actually. Terrible at this girl. No. But at least you laugh in front of me. Worse to laugh behind my back. That one will be optimal. Okay. Alright, so that's basically the. Like I said, these are some of the examples we give about some of the local companies. But there are others. It can be a small company, it can be a fairly mid-sized. But all these companies are what we call SMEs, small, medium enterprise. And increasingly, again, Malaysia doesn't know how to exploit it. But increasingly, many countries in the world, the next wave of industrialization, of going overseas, is SMEs. So you find in Malaysia, or even in other parts of Asia, a lot of SMEs from Germany, Italy, France, UK are all going overseas because they already reached saturation levels in their own home country. The only way to increase sales, increase business, increase profit is to go overseas. Same like Malaysia. If Malaysia wants to grow, it has to go overseas. The Malaysian market is too small. Because of globalization, you cannot just depend on your own local market because the big boys come in, the big global players come, they also eat into your sales. So you will also die. So the only way is to also go into their markets and expand. Yeah? You cannot depend on your own domestic market. You cannot be a jungle company. You must go overseas. So some of the companies are doing that. Yeah? If you study international marketing or global marketing. So, and then of course when we say about, so your value proposition is important. You must understand what is the company's strengths, what is it that is unique about the company. And that answers the question about value proposition. Okay, you do a bit of definition, what is value proposition, and then from your understanding of the company's products, how they sell, what price range, put in your value proposition. Maybe they produce the most economical brands for consumers in. Or maybe they are the number one brand in Terengganu and Kelantan. Maybe they're the number one brand in Johor, So all these can be value propositions. And then from there on, you move to a marketing mix audit. So you look at the 4 P's. Product, what kind of product do they produce? Is it the same products or different diversified products? The more diversified it is, the more flexibility it gives you to rearrange your strategy so that you can grow your business. And some of them are complementary, they're all related. Like KFC, Ayamas are all interrelated, all use chickens. So when they have chicken farms, they can try to recover the high cost of, increasing cost of chicken because of chicken feed. So they know how to play with prices across Ayamas, Rasa Mas, KFC. Yeah? So that's product. Recommendations can come up with new products. Durian flavored chicken. Wow, that one sure. You inside the chicken filling and then stuff on durian there. Like just turkey, the Christians like to celebrate Thanksgiving, they eat turkey. Normally the turkey, they stuff the turkey inside all meat, sausages. So this one you stuff durian inside, open, durian. Different, something different, right? Some foods you can also prepare to this is like say McDonald's. What did they come up prosperity burger when? During Chinese New Year. They don't use it as part of their standard menu. They only keep it for certain festivities. And during festivities, everybody will try prosperity burger. So increase their sales. From beef prosperity burger, now got beef and chicken. Very soon got duck, got tupai, got snake, got crocodile. Yeah? So you can come up with different types. Why? You know what you said? Why? No, why? What? You are Singapore. Singapore, they have pork. Singapore, McDonald's is not halal. Yeah, Thailand as well. That is what we call product adaptation, product modification. Because you go to certain markets, you have to cater to different markets. For example, Tony Romas. You know Tony Romas? Tony Romas is famous for their ribs. But their ribs that they are famous for are pork ribs, not beef ribs. So you go to Singapore, Tony Romas, a lot of Malaysians there because they have to eat the pork ribs. In Malaysia, because we are a majority Muslim country, so they decide to cater for all the races, so they come out with beef ribs. So that's product adaptation. They adapt the product to the market. If you want to have a product that just cater for the non-Muslims, then fine, you can sell pork. Yeah, there are some restaurants that are just focusing on the non-Muslim market. That's fine. It depends on your own idea of who are you targeting as customers. Is it big enough for you to survive now? Or you want to cover everybody? But even among the Muslim market, it is becoming increasingly segmented. It's difficult now. Because some Muslims are not so particular. Some are very strict Muslims, some are really very, very fundamentalist Muslims. So some places, even if you serve halal food, halal concept does not just cover not selling pork or just covering chicken. It's the way you slaughter the meat. So if it's not slaughtered according to the Islamic rite, then it's not halal. And even the way you prepare has a certain halal. So that's why some who are very religious Muslims, they won't go to a restaurant which is not properly halal. And some, if you are halal, claim to be halal, but you sell beer and liquor, they don't stay in there. I have a colleague who won't go into a hotel, go into a restaurant because they serve beer and liquor there. So every time when we walk for lunch and dinner, we have to go to a Malay restaurant or a Burma restaurant. So there are Malays like that who are very particular about the diet. Halal is not just not having pork or chicken slaughtered according to Muslims. It's more than that. The food preparation that includes vegetables and cooking that includes all those things. Yeah. So there are many, and some again for some who are very, very fundamentalist. Even the cutlery you use, the place you use will be different. Muslims are different place, non-Muslims are different place. Yeah? So there are people like that. So if you have like that, then you are segmenting the Muslim market. You are not catering to everybody. Then you have to ask yourself, as a businessman, do I want to cater to everybody? So I just focus on the Chinese market, on the non-Muslim market. Non-Muslim market will eat anything, right? So you have to decide as a business. And that depends on the location, the market you're serving. That's why doing your SWOT analysis is important. Who are your customers? If your customers are mostly Malays, you have to cater to them. Because getting halal certification again is a very expensive process. It's not, some people say it's not worth it. So there are a lot of issues like that. So you have to do a little bit of reading and understand. Okay. Doesn't mean that if you put a restaurant there, no pork. Some Muslims, they don't care, they're not very religious, they will go. But real Muslims won't go to this kind of places. It's not about no pork. Yeah? It's a different concept. Again, many non-Muslims don't understand the concept of halal. Halal doesn't mean just pork or no pork. Yeah? If you smayang before you, so believe the pork is not halal already, right? Anyway, so when we then talk about, we talk about the product. Then you talk about the price. Understand the price of the company that you select, the products, vis-a-vis the competitors. How are you positioned against your competitors? Who are your competitors? Who are your main competitors? Are you competing with, like say, the soya sauce? Are you competing against Maggi soya sauce? Or are you competing against Cap Kipas, Cap Ulan, Cap Udang, Cap Tupai, Cap whatever Cap lah? Maybe you are only catering to those products, but they sell to the smaller restaurants, smaller shops, smaller sandwich shops, rural areas, semi-rural areas. Yeah? So I don't think rural areas can find Maggi soya sauce. I don't think so. But some of the bigger towns can find it. So who are your main competitors? And your pricing, is it parity pricing, that means the same price? Or is it higher, trying to create a premium image, or lower? Which is which? That also is related to your positioning. Yeah? Your value proposition. Sometimes you can position a product as a premium brand. Sometimes affordable brand, economy brand. So you have to decide. Right? So pricing is important. Maybe you do a table to show comparison of prices of 6 or 7 competitive brands. Okay, then you know, okay, this is how they position themselves. I don't know, is A1 and Farm Bears and KFC, the chicken prices are they the same? Then they have another one called Nutri something, where they use water to clean the chicken. That one is normally priced higher. I think about 20% higher. Yeah? So again, different types of products has different positioning. So you need to understand that market. The best is to go to a supermarket and just check. Right? So that's price. Then place. Where is it distributed? Is it nationally distributed? Who distributes it? The company itself? Or they pass it on to a trading house, an agent, distributor to distribute it for you? Or you only distribute using your own van in a small area, 10-kilometer radius, 20-kilometer radius, that's it. Because you have a cottage industry cannot produce more. You've got no space, no people. These are all your family members helping you produce. So you're only happy to service 20-kilometer radius around your house, that's it. Sell everything and happy. You know, like those nasi lemak, both sides. They are not there to do business, they're just there to supplement their family income. Maybe husband work not, they earn not enough, they need a little bit more income, children in school, so they just sell nasi lemak just to add on to the income. But it's still a business, although they may not be interested in expanding their business. So some cottage industries are like that, to supplement their income. So they simple, just do a proper, simple label, no design, no nothing, yeah? Things like that. So distribution is important. How big is that distribution? Is it the whole of West Malaysia? Is it the whole of Malaysia? Does it also go to Thailand, Indonesia, Singapore, Brunei? Or does it export to the whole world? Yeah? So you have to understand that. Because in most consumer products, the wider your distribution network, the wider you have your sales potential. Because people have more opportunity to buy your product. Higher distribution, higher sales. Of course, that will lead to promotion, whether people know whether your product exists or not. So the last P is promotion. How do you advertise and promote your product? Do people know about your product? Sometimes you go to coffee shop, especially the mama and the Malay coffee shops, what do? All those that sell those kopi jantan, kopi tupai, kopi udang, they put those small little posters they put on the wall. But after a while, so many posters, who reads? Again, how do you communicate that that product is available? Do people know about it? I forgot the other locals one you can use is what? Old Town, right? Also local. Georgetown, Kopitiam, yeah. Kopitiam, Papa Ridge, all these are locals, yeah. I got another one, Hakka Kopitiam. Oh, Hailam there. Not Hakka, Hailam. Yeah? So all these are locals. I mean, it used to be just Old Town only one. Then Papa Ridge is positioned a bit higher than Old Town. Yeah? If you notice, Papa Ridge prices are a little bit higher than Old Town. And suddenly the Georgetown come, the Hailam come, everybody is offering the same. Even now, coffee boutiques, it's not just controlled by the international brand, there's a local brand, right? Can't remember what's the name. One today, they started also something like Starbucks. Normally you can find them in RRRs along the highway. Yeah? So all these are food and beverage. Ice cream brands, any local brands here? Huh? Matkul is under Nestle lah. Matkul. Under Nestle. Okay, so how does it advertise? How does it promote? What kind of promotion does it do to attract people to buy the product? Some companies which are bigger, they have the promoters, they do the sampling, isn't it? They put up a little stall in the supermarket, people come, they give you a try, then they have special offer, buy one, free two, just to introduce the product. Okay? So then come up with your strategies. What would you recommend to grow the market for the company or for the products? Your limit is about this. I put in 3,000 words, right?
2,500.
Oh, 2,500 words. Yeah, okay. So not too many strategies lah. 3-4 strategies enough. Okay. Any questions?
So this local product that you are talking about, so you will compare this whatever they do in Malaysia or overseas?
Yeah, Malaysia.
Only Malaysia.
But of course your recommendations can be to look beyond Malaysia market.
Malaysia we can talk about that as well.
Yeah, because that's under your recommendation, your strategies.
And also producing this product.
Yeah, producing new products is also part of the strategies. But not too many. Just 3 or 4 strategies, discuss it a little bit more detail will be fine. Don't have too many because you are only limited by 2,500 words. So you want to for you to get carried away. Yeah. Then just short conclusion lah, 1-2 sentence lah. Yes.
Nestle is not allowed to use.
Yeah, Nestle is not, although they may be locally listed,